Let's stop pretending. When it comes to sex, there's one technique that always stands out for men. It's the one that, when done right, has the power to make him beg, lose every bit of self-control, and completely surrender to the moment, and to you. And no, it's not some mysterious tantric move or an advanced position pulled from the depths of the internet. It's much simpler than that, but also far more intimate, more psychological, and more addictive than most people realize. I'm talking about oral, what many playfully call giving brain. Here's the twist though. Most women think of it as something he just wants, something purely physical to check off the list. But what makes this technique the most requested, the thing men literally dream about and sometimes even plead for, isn't the act itself. It's how it's done. It's the energy, the confidence, the emotional surrender mixed with physical command. Here's the hard truth. Most people rush it, overthink it, or treat it like a favor. That's the difference between good and absolutely unforgettable. If you want to give the kind of oral that leaves a man obsessed, that turns him into soft clay in your hands, that makes him crave you long after it's over, you have to do it the right way. Today I'm sharing 5 insights to master the #1 sex technique men beg for. And it's not just about physical pleasure, it's about psychological pleasure too. Because when you do this properly, you're not just turning him on, you're rewiring his brain to link you with the most powerful pleasure he's ever felt. Let's break it down. The moment you go down on a man, you face a choice. Do you stay passive, or do you take charge of the entire experience from the very first second? Most people, without even realizing it, default to submission. They treat it like a gift they're giving, like something done only to please him. But the truth is, the most mind-blowing oral experiences for a man aren't the ones where he's treated like a king and you're a servant. They're the ones where he feels completely claimed, where he feels like you are in control. That's the shift most women don't even realize they're capable of making. It's not about being rough or aggressive. It's about being intentional, confident, playful, and fully in charge of the moment. From the way you look at him before you start, to the way your hands move with precision, to the vibe you send off that says, "I'm not here to serve you, I'm here to ruin you." That changes everything. Because here's what you need to know. Men don't fantasize about being submissive. They fantasize about surrender. And there's a huge difference. Submission is when someone gives up control because they have to. Surrender is when they give it up because they want to. And when a man feels that wave of surrender wash over him, not because you're trying to please him, but because you've made it impossible for him not to, he'll crave you like a drug. It starts from your very first touch. Don't creep into it timidly. Ease him into your rhythm with certainty. Let your body language say, "You're mine now." Place your hands on his thighs like you own that space. Hold eye contact just a heartbeat longer than expected. Guide his hips into place, not forcefully but with purpose. You're not just doing an act, you're crafting an experience. You're not asking for approval. You're not waiting for his directions. You're letting him feel what it's like to be desired, to be completely undone by someone who knows her power. And the beauty of this kind of control, it's generous. It's not about holding back. It's about giving in a way that's bold, present, and grounded. This isn't robotic or detached. It's full of heat and focus. And most importantly, it makes you feel more alive, more embodied, more connected in the moment. Because instead of shrinking yourself to make him happy, you're expanding into your full presence to lead both of you somewhere unforgettable. That's the kind of energy that makes him melt under your hands. That's the kind of oral that has him reaching for your hand afterward, laughing breathlessly because he doesn't know what just hit him. You want to start with control, not because you need to dominate, but because you want to guide. You want to lead him into the kind of surrender that leaves him speechless, dizzy, and utterly in awe of you. And when you do that, when you own those first seconds with confidence and calm, he'll never see you the same way again. He won't just want you, He'll need you. Every time he even thinks about that moment, he'll remember how it felt to be under your spell. That's not just technique, that's presence. That's power. There's a secret every woman should know before she ever gets close to a man's most sensitive spot. Pleasure isn't just about what you do. It's also about what you don't do. Yet, most people assume men just want to get straight to the point. They believe the fastest way to pleasure is always the best way. But that's a lie. What men truly crave, the kind of craving that makes their body ache with anticipation, is tease. And I don't mean teasing in a silly or sarcastic way, I mean teasing with purpose. Teasing with sensuality. Teasing with full awareness of your own power. When you slow everything down and hold back just long enough to make him yearn for it, you don't just turn him on, you create a kind of obsession. He starts hanging on your every move, every breath, every glance. And it's not because you're withholding, it's because you're building something. Think of it as foreplay inside of foreplay. You're not rushing to the main event, you are the event. Every second you hover just above him, every kiss, lick, or breath that almost gives him what he craves, pulls him deeper under your spell. When your lips trace around his thighs, when your tongue flicks lightly without pressure, when your hands hold him steady but don't yet give him release, you're not just giving pleasure, you're creating a memory he'll replay in his mind over and over. You're showing him what it feels like to lose control, not because you took it, but because he gave it willingly. That's how you make him crave you, not just in bed, but in every sense of the word. Your hand begins to glide softly over him, barely making contact, holding back from taking full control just yet. You're feeding his desires slowly, deliberately, deliciously, and the whole time your energy says without words, I know what you crave, and I'm going to make you work for it. That's what drives him wild, that's what makes him ache and beg. Because in those moments you flip the power dynamic completely. You're not just giving him pleasure, you're creating tension. And sexual tension is the most addictive feeling there is. It's what makes his breath quicken, what makes his hands reach out for you, what makes him moan even before you've given him the main thing. Understand this, such energy and chemistry don't come from mere technique. They come from being fully present, deeply aware, and so attuned to his body that you instinctively know when to pull back and when to press in. And let's be honest, this doesn't just drive him crazy, it stirs something deep in you too. Because when you tease with real confidence, you're no longer performing, you're playing, you're exploring, you're leading. And in that leadership, you discover how powerful your own desire truly is. You realize it's not about racing to the finish, it's about crafting a moment that neither of you wants to end. So don't hesitate to hold him at the edge. Don't be afraid to stretch out that delicious tension longer than you normally would, because the longer you delay the release, the more explosive and unforgettable it becomes when it finally happens. When it does, he won't just remember what you did, he'll remember how badly he wanted it, how deeply you made him feel. And that memory of being taken right to the edge by a woman so confident, so playful, so deliciously in control, will haunt him in the most addictive way. If there's one move that doesn't require your hands, your lips, or your tongue, but can still completely unravel a man, it's eye contact. Most people underestimate it or use it too casually, but when done with intention, eye contact can make him feel more exposed, more vulnerable than anything else. Because while your mouth might give him physical pleasure, your eyes are what strike his soul. That's the difference between a good act and an experience that wrecks him in the best way. See, most women look away, not because they aren't into it, but because they feel shy, disconnected, or too caught up in performing. But when you pause just for a moment and look up into his eyes, it sends a shockwave through his entire body. It tells him without words, I'm not just doing this, I'm fully here with you. I want you to feel every single second of this. That kind of gaze transforms an act into a memory. It makes pleasure feel intimate, personal, even vulnerable. Here's the magic. It doesn't have to be constant. In fact, it's more powerful when it isn't. A sudden glance, a flash of deep connection in the middle of all that heat, can feel like a jolt straight to his heart. It cuts through the haze of pleasure and pulls him closer emotionally. In that moment, you're not just a body giving him a good time. You're a woman staring straight into his soul while doing it. And timing is everything here. Eye contact works best in moments of heightened sensation. When his breathing grows heavy, when his moans deepen, when you sense he's losing control. That's when you look up and catch his gaze with that knowing, devastatingly confident look. You don't even need words. Your eyes say it all. I know exactly what I'm doing to you, and I'm not stopping. That alone can send him over the edge. And if you want to melt him completely, pair that look with a subtle, wicked little smile. The kind that says you're enjoying this just as much as he is. Not because you have to, but because you love the power you hold in that moment. Never underestimate what that smile does to his ego, his heart, and his hunger all at once. It makes him feel chosen, seen, and utterly helpless in the best possible way. Here's what separates the unforgettable from the forgettable: presence. If you're stuck in your head worrying about how you look or just going through the motions, your eyes will give it away. But when you're connected, confident, and fully tuned into him and yourself, that energy flows out of your eyes like fire. He'll feel it deep in his chest. This one simple thing, eye contact, timed and delivered with pure intention, is what turns good intimacy into a soul-shaking experience. 'Cause in that second when your eyes lock, he stops being a man receiving pleasure. He becomes a man completely under your spell, and that's the kind of feeling he'll chase long after the act is over. That's what keeps him coming back. Not the speed, not the technique, but the look. That one look that spoke volumes without a word, that told him, right now, you're mine. Once he's felt that, he won't forget it. If there's one more thing that can take your skills from good to I can't stop thinking about her, it's rhythm. Not just the rhythm itself, but how you play with it. Too many people slip into autopilot. They find something that works and stick with it. Same pace, same motion, same rhythm. And while it feels nice, it becomes predictable. And predictability is the enemy of mind-blowing passion. What a man truly craves, especially in moments of deep intimacy, is surprise. He wants to feel the unexpected. The teasing, the sudden switch up, the moment you take him right to the brink, then pull back with a wicked grin and make him climb all over again. That's what makes him beg. That's what keeps his body tense and his mind spinning, desperate to know what you'll do next. Now, it's not just physical, it's mental. You're not just giving pleasure anymore, you're leading him through a maze of desire. And here's the beautiful part: this doesn't require complicated moves. It requires awareness. Awareness of his breath, the way his muscles tighten when he's close, the sounds he makes when something really hits. When you learn to read his body like that, you become the DJ of his desire, turning the tempo up, slowing it down, pausing for a breathless moment before diving back in. That variety builds tension like nothing else. You tease him with a slow, sensual swirl, then without warning deepen it, harder, faster. You add your hands, you change angles, and you keep him guessing every second. When he's about to completely let go, pause right there. Let him gasp. Let him open his eyes and stare at you in disbelief, because he can't understand how he's still holding on. That pause, that shift, that's where the power lies. It's what allows you to stretch the moment and build tension so he doesn't just reach his climax, he crashes into it. And if you want to take it even further, speak softly to him as you change your rhythm. Say in a low, teasing voice, "Not yet," or whisper, "You love it when I do it slow, don't you?" Those words, layered over your unpredictable movements, take it from purely physical to deeply psychological. In that moment, you're no longer just his partner. You're the voice in his head, the one in control of everything he feels. That's what makes this technique of constant rhythm changes so irresistible. It transforms you from someone giving pleasure into an unforgettable experience. Someone who reads him so deeply, so intuitively, no one else could ever copy it. Because it's not about some secret move, it's about flow, adaptability, confidence. It's about being so present that you know when to give more and when to hold back. Until he's completely lost in you, that's when you own him. That's when it becomes unforgettable. That's when you become the person he thinks of weeks later, staring at the ceiling because he can't sleep. You didn't just perform. You didn't just follow steps. You danced with his pleasure. You controlled it. You made it unpredictable. And men don't fall for what simply feels good. They fall for what they can't predict, what they can't control, what they can't forget. Be that rhythm, be that storm before the calm, be that chaos that leaves him dazed. And I promise, he'll never look at oral or at you the same way again. The ending of an experience is what burns it into memory. It's the final touch, the part he replays again and again in his mind when he's alone. The moment he connects with you long after the heat has faded. And yet this is where so many women lose an opportunity. They treat the ending like a slow fade out, soft, quiet, maybe even detached. But if you want to give the kind of oral that leaves him craving it over and over, the kind that sets you apart from every other woman he's ever been with, you need to leave your mark. It doesn't have to be big or dramatic. A small bite, a whispered word, even a deep gaze can do wonders. But an emotional mark, a signature move, makes it unforgettable. It might be the way you slowly glide up his body after he collapses, kissing his chest while keeping eye contact, or the way you confidently straddle him while he's still breathless, like you're not just finishing, you're claiming your space. Or maybe it's that one perfect line, whispered hot against his ear, dripping with fire and softness at the same time. You'll think about this tomorrow. Or no one will ever make you feel like that again. The beauty of a signature move is that it gives closure, but not the kind that ends things. It's the kind that lingers, haunts, stays in his skin. The kind that flashes through his mind days later when he hears a certain song or catches the scent of your perfume. And here's the secret. Your signature move doesn't need to be loud or showy. In fact, the more subtle it is, the more powerful it becomes. Because then, it's not about putting on a performance, it's about connection, confidence, presence. Maybe you end with a soft kiss on his inner thigh, then curl into his arms, letting the silence say it all. Or maybe you stand and walk away, giving him one last glance over your shoulder with that knowing smirk that says, yeah, you'll be thinking about this for a long time. Whatever your signature move is, make it yours. Let it reflect your energy, your confidence, your essence. Because this final act isn't just about him. It's about the message you leave behind. That you weren't just a fun moment, you were an experience. He'll compare every other encounter to you. Every woman after you will fall short, not because they didn't try hard enough, but because they didn't understand him like you did. They didn't mark him the way you did. And here's the most delicious part. That signature move doesn't just make him miss you, it reminds you of your own power. It proves you own your sensuality, that you led the whole moment from start to finish and ended it with the quiet confidence of a woman who knows exactly who she is. That's the energy that makes a man not just want you, it makes him feel like he needs you, not just physically, emotionally. That's the kind of presence that stays in his memory, in his body, in his fantasies. So don't just stop there, finish it. Leave your mark, seal the moment so that every nerve in his body and every thought in his mind screams that what just happened wasn't ordinary. It was legendary, and it had your name all over it. So here's what I want you to remember. Giving incredible oral isn't about tricks. It's not about porn star theatrics or chasing some impossible standard. It's about presence, intention. When you stop thinking of it as something you do and start treating it as an experience you create, everything shifts. Because what men truly remember, what they crave, what they fantasize about long after, it's not just the physical sensations, it's how you made them feel. It's the teasing that drove them wild, the eye contact that made their chest tighten, the rhythm that made them lose track of time, and the final unforgettable mark you left behind. You're not just another woman giving him pleasure. You're the woman who made him surrender, the one who made him feel. And the most seductive thing you can bring into the bedroom isn't just your body. It's your awareness, your power, your unapologetic ownership of the moment. Because when you show up with that kind of energy, he's not just satisfied, he's obsessed. So if this message lit something up in you, if you feel even a little more confident, a little more dangerous in the best way, don't keep it to yourself. And remember, you don't have to be perfect. You just have to be present, playful, and fully you. When you bring that energy into the bedroom, he won't just beg for more. He'll wonder how he ever lived without you. And here's the part most women don't even realize. The power isn't just in your lips or your tongue. It's in your energy. It's in the way you slow down when he's desperate for you to speed up. It's in the way you look into his eyes like you're reading his soul. It's in the way your confidence wraps around him tighter than any touch ever could. Because a man can feel it when a woman is fully there, fully in control, not rushed, not timid, not wondering if she's doing it right. He feels when you're present, when you're enjoying the moment as much as he is. That's what makes it unforgettable. That's what makes it addictive. You see, any woman can give him pleasure, but very few women can make him surrender. Very few can reach into his mind, his heart, his fantasies, and leave their fingerprints all over them. And it's not about being wild or perfect or some exaggerated idea of sexy. It's about being so connected to him and to yourself that every move feels like an invitation, every pause feels like a command, every breath feels like a promise that he's never had this before and he may never have it again. That's the energy that lingers in his chest long after. That's the reason he can't stop replaying the way you teased him with your words, the way you kept him on edge, the way you made him feel like he was losing himself and finding himself all at once. So don't be afraid to slow down even more. Don't be afraid to pull back and let him ache for you. Don't be afraid to make eye contact as if you're claiming every inch of his soul. And when he finally lets go, don't let it end there. That's your moment to seal it, to make it permanent, to show him that this wasn't just pleasure, it was a masterpiece you created together. Run your fingers softly across his skin, like you're writing your name there. Whisper something that will replay in his mind every time he's alone. Leave him with a smile, a look, a touch that says, this wasn't just about your body, this was about your heart, your mind, your obsession. And here's what happens when you do this. Every woman after you will feel different to him. They might try harder, they might even be good, but they won't be you. They won't know how to pause at just the right second. They won't know how to make him laugh mid-moment and then moan seconds later. They won't know how to get into his head and rewrite the way he thinks about pleasure. That's why he'll keep coming back in his mind, even if he doesn't admit it out loud. That's why he'll check his phone late at night, wondering if he should text you. That's why he'll remember the sound of your voice, the feel of your lips, the way you made him feel like no one else existed in the world but the two of you. And you'll walk away with the quiet confidence of a woman who knows her own power, a woman who doesn't just give pleasure, she commands it, shapes it, owns it. So don't be afraid to be that woman. Don't be afraid to be unforgettable. Because in the end, men don't crave women who are good in bed. They crave women who make them feel alive. Women who make them feel wanted, cherished, undone. Women who leave them breathless, not just from the act, but from the memory. And that woman is you.